Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Dan.
And this is a Board Game Rundown. Today we've got a super extra special guest. Very excited. Alex Inoue from Runes of Zun, Gobico Games. He's one of the designers. We've got an interview with him in the middle of the show.
So no topic today.
No topic. He's the topic.
He is the topic.
And yeah, really excited about that. But first, we're also going to talk about games we played. News. Kickstarters. And crowdfunding. Yeah, mine's more of a crowdfunding.
But Tim,
thing.
Aren't we giving away a game?
We are giving away a game. We're so close, Bob. What are we giving away?
We're giving away AEG's Edge of Darkness. It's a huge, card crafting, deck building kind of game.
Dice tower.
Yeah, huge. Well, it's not dice. It's
it's Cube Tower. Cube Tower.
Yeah, it's a very cool game. It's a Kickstarter exclusive. They're actually getting ready to release another expansion on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
so if you
up.
win this, you could not have to buy the base and just get the expansion for it.
Right.
So we have a video right here that if you go to that video and you comment on it saying maybe your favorite AEG game, we're getting a lot of canvases and space bases.
Yes.
So comment on that video and we will pick. And if you are also a subscriber and you're chosen, you will get the game sent to you.
Right. And when we hit 500 subs, that's when we're going to give it away.
Yeah.
So we're like 25 away. We're so close.
So close.
We're so close. I cannot wait to give this thing away.
But how much are they going to have to pay if they win?
Oh, well, the shipping is going to cost...
Man, in today's market, too.
Shipping's rough. Bob, you got the calculator. What's shipping?
It's free.
Gratis!
Bob. Yeah.
I'm not the smartest person ever, but I don't think that was a calculator.
Yes! Eat it! So, anyways, yes, guys, enter in the contest. There is 200 plus comments. 500 subscribers. So your odds are good, right?
Yeah.
So you just get on there.
Get your friends on there. Have them comment, also.
Just 24 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we need with your own subscription.
Right.
Which would make 25, which is what
I mean, it's a fluctuating number, but we're in the 20s.
500. Yeah, it's real close.
Yeah.
It's real close.
Yep. But make sure you also like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get all the notifications when our...
Bells are important because YouTube's algorithm is a bit of a mean person.
Yes.
Also, because sometimes we talk about Kickstarters or games on GameFound that are going to end like the day this pops up.
Right.
And we'd hate for you to miss it.
Yes. That would be unfortunate.
Anyways, boys,
Games
what are some games we played this week?
I think the first game I played, my memory's terrible. I think the first game I played this whole week was Resident Evil 3, the board.
That was the first game you played this week? Okay.
But yeah, Resident Evil 3, the board game by Steamforged Games. Tim and I played it with our friend Pete, who's been on the show before. We have an unboxing or review here. I'm going to link one of them when they're available, and they will link to the others, of course, because they're related. But pretty cool game. We liked it. We only have first impressions video going out right now because
we played
the
introductory.
Yeah, we played the
scenario.
introductory, which is only about half the rules,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed it quite a bit. It was very simple to learn, very intuitive, almost too easy. But I think I'd much rather have an intro scenario that teaches you the rules and feels a little too easy because then you jump into the deep end, right?
And then it just doesn't kick your teeth.
Rather than playing
a
beginning scenario that you're like, man, seriously, like the Pandemic Legacy tutorial mission, you're like still getting your butt kicked. And you're like, I don't know if I want to play the rest of the game. This is so hard already.
I was out when you said Pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Legacy's a great game.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I don't think it does enough to make me want to run out and grab Resident Evil 3 when I already have games like Descent and Imperial Assault. But if you are a fan of the Resident Evil IP, then this game's for you. As long as it's a dungeon crawl-ish
co-op
style, like straight co-op. There's no bad guy, right? All the zombies and Nemesis are all just straight out of, they've got their own AI.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward again to playing the scenarios because we love difficult co-ops.
Yes.
And this one really could get there.
Right, and so don't misconstrue my words. Like, Pete has a copy of the game. I will be happy to play Pete's anytime. I just don't feel like I need to rush out and throw it in my collection. Now, we might play through campaign mode and go, holy smokes, guys.
Sure.
That was incredible.
And also, I mentioned this in the first impressions, but honestly, my thing is, so playing it did not make me like, oh, I got to run out and get Resident Evil 3. But it did make me think, like, maybe I should check out maybe I want to own Resident Evil 2 though.
Oh, sure.
Because
you like that game.
I like
even
that
better.
game so much more, like video game wise, and I really want to see how they do like the keys.
Right.
You know, like I mentioned this in the video earlier, but like, you know, in Resident Evil 2, a huge mechanic is okay. Well, in order to unlock this part, it's the spade door, so you have to find the spade key.
Right.
And there's a lot of puzzle stuff like that in the second one that isn't really in the third one. So I really want to see how that plays out in the board game and stuff, the puzzle solvingness.
Yeah, they do some things right. Well, we won't blow through all of ours. So, Bob, what did you play?
Learned a new game over. Yeah, we played Shelfie Stacker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We've got an unboxing.
We have an
video for
unboxing
that
video somewhere around here. There
Oh,
it is.
whoa.
Yeah, and but no, it's cool. It's you put out of these boxes in between one for each person plus one. You pull out 3 dice and you set them on there, and the dice have like box sizes on it, right? So 1 big box, 2 small boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, all the way up to 6.
Right.
And then as you draft a whole box of games that are being delivered to you, you've got your shelf, which is dual layered. You have a shelf of shame, and then you're also playing guys from your hands. And so everybody has cards. There's like 16 of them, but you only pick 9, right?
Okay.
And you're going to put one face down, then you simultaneously reveal. Lowest card's going to get to pick first. And then they also have a special ability on there. And you can use it the same turn you play it, or you can save it and wait and use the ability later on. And then you have to place all of your dice, either in your normal shelf or in your shelf of shame.
Okay.
And whatnot. And then they have different abilities too. Like something like, oh, flip a die over. 6s are wild, so you can change it to whatever size you want. And then there's scoring cards too, like that will change game to game. Like if you've got 1 through 5, or if you've got so many of this color and this pattern. Things like that.
Right on.
But yeah, it was super simple, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes
Nice.
to play. But yeah, it was fun. It was very light.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome, though, when you get a Kickstarter that you haven't played.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you get to play it, and you're like, oh, yeah, well,
Yeah,
that
it
was
fun.
good.
Yeah, and like the insert on that is awesome.
The insert's amazing.
Yeah, it holds everything, and
I like
no
the
issues.
meta theme.
Yeah, I really
yeah.
did. Like, looking at the cards and stuff when we were unboxing it, I was
It's
just
funny because
like,
it's like, oh, that's like one of them is like the
obligatory.
Yeah, expansion or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
like the gamer, and she's like holding back like the shelf, and like the tentacles are coming out and
Right,
everything,
of
and it's like,
course.
but it came with the base game or something like that. And like, yeah, it's Tim. It's Cthulhu War stuff just keeps showing up at the house.
No,
you know.
Still waiting on like 2 more of those Kickstarters.
I know.
Yep.
But yeah,
yep.
it was cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Did you play anything else?
I did. Yep. We also learned the night game.
Oh, that's the one I really want to know about.
Yeah. So it's very creepy, and man, I'm gonna tell you what, spread out. We were like,
no.
oh yeah, we'll stay close together, and that way our candles can keep each other's faces
So in
lit.
the night cage,
Yeah.
you're trying to like escape this labyrinth.
Yeah. So you always play with all 4 of the characters, right? So if you're playing 2 people, you have 2
okay.
people each, okay? And the whole goal is you've got this stack of tiles, and in the stack you've got key tiles, you've got gates, and then there's monsters. They call them wax eaters because your candle's the only light you have, right?
Yeah.
And then and as you move around the board, you're only lighting the orthogonal directions, and so as you move the passages behind you, they get discarded. And then if you go back the other way, like things have changed, right?
Nice.
And then there's crumbling passageways, and so because you can stay there, right? So there's a monster over there, like I don't want to move because if I move, that monster will activate, right? So but if you stay there, you can fall, and the crumbling passageway will fall, and your character goes to the edge of the board, and then the next round, you're basically falling through that passageway, and you pick a spot to stop at, and then you populate that with tiles and whatnot. And it's super interesting, but being grouped up the way we were as we started pulling monsters, because like you can trigger a monster, and then if you move and stay in the same column, they attack you. But if you move out of their line of sight, they miss, they fall off, they go away. But since there were so many spawning and we're all right together, like it was just combo hitting everybody, and you lose 3 tiles every time you get hit, and your candle goes out. We ended up losing too many key tiles, so not everybody could get a key, and we lost that way. But then when your flame goes out, you have to basically make your way. You have to move from the tile, and you can't see. You're blindly like just pulling one and moving into it. And if you move into a monster, you get attacked again. But once you move into your like adjacent to an ally, basically you light your candle off of their candle, and then you can see again. And keep
Fantastic.
moving. It was
Wow.
super neat, super thematic. I came with the little candles. We turned the light off and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of made it
I was gonna ask.
and there was a sound. I didn't use the sound thing. I should have.
Sure.
But yeah, they have a sound effect thing
I
that
am
you could
that
do.
game. I am so excited
Yeah,
to play
it's
that
super
game. Bob.
neat. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so excited to play that game. It looks so good.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
I just love the theme of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really glad that you had a good experience, because
Yeah.
I was going to be really bummed out if you're like,
Yeah. Well, it was short. I mean, but it was
sure.
it was fun. We probably only lasted like maybe 20 or 30 minutes, but we were so bunched up, and like the first couple of monsters, we're dealing with them okay, and then there were 3 on the board, and we were done.
I believe that game, it says it's a 50-minute runtime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I
50
made
minutes.
a joke. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like 50 minutes? That's oddly specific.
No.
Yeah.
Really weird number.
It was
But
a weird number.
no,
but-
that's cool.
Yeah, it was
that's
cool,
so
though.
cool.
Mhm.
So we all played, and Dan and I played separate, but Bob also got to play Gorinto
Yes.
from Grand Gamers Guild,
Yeah.
and a new game of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a review coming. Spoiler alert, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
it was
really good.
I mentioned in the video, like looking at the box, I was kind of not super hyped on it, but then man, we played it and we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Tim literally was like, "We're gonna play this for the show," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And he was like, "It's abstract strategy," and I was like, "Okay, not cool." And I don't like abstract strategy. Playing it and like literally like 2 like maybe 1 round in, like a couple turns in, I just couldn't get over how clever I thought the
Yeah.
game felt, and
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Well, so I've been reading some of the press stuff for it, and then I got lucky, reached out to Grand Gamers Guild and was like, hey, we're really interested. So they sent us the copy, but, we try to be honest about our feelings.
Yeah.
And just lucked into a really...
I
yeah.
have no qualms with tearing an abstract strategy game apart.
No,
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
clearly.
Especially a beloved one.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Sagrada sucks.
I like Sagrada,
and I
but,
really liked this.
but Gorinto is better.
Oh
Yeah.
Gorinto's really good. I really enjoyed it.
It did felt very puzzly, right? You're
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm going to move this and that puzzle, and I'm trying to solve my puzzle
And
to
it's-
get as many
while
points as I
building
can.
this other puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah,
It's really quick. We played 4 players with teaching in
20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, if that. It was under 30 minutes
Under
for
30
sure.
minutes, yeah.
So really good, very accessible as far as like teaching, like difficulty teaching.
Yep.
This is going to be a game that you can take to your family members that aren't
yeah.
gamers,
Yep.
right? Parents, in-laws, so on and so forth. Brothers and sisters, maybe. It's really good.
Yep.
Really good.
It's a game that makes people feel smart, I think.
Not me.
Well,
I play that game. I'm
that's
like,
really
"Ugh,
hard for you.
You dummy. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
A lot of weight to lift.
So Dan got to watch,
I did watch. I wrote it down. I didn't play it, but I wrote it down.
but I got to play Redline.
I did watch the entire
Oh, okay.
playthrough.
Nice.
So
Redline, and Pete played against
poor
me,
Pete.
and he's like, "Oh, I don't know," and then I kept giving him the option to stop playing.
Okay.
We should go into this not because the game is bad per se, but because he hates card games. He hates deck builders. He hates like games like Magic the Gathering, like dueling card games. He hates them. He hates them. He hates them.
So I thought he might like it because it's basically like
Got
a
mechs and
pre-constructed deck,
Okay.
right? So it's not like you've got to build your own deck.
Sure.
you can.
So it's
but
a
there are
living-
starter
okay.
decks.
Yeah, it's a living, expandable
Card game.
a living
sure.
card game, right? But yeah, Pete's like, oh, I don't know. And then there was, when he was doing well, he was having a good time, right?
Right. Just.
But I was doing better. He had a bad draw early. He mulliganed, but probably didn't do it the right way or enough. You know,
well,
to
sure,
get-
or just got bad cards again.
could have.
You only allowed 1 mulligan, so you could just draw a
Yeah.
bad
So
hand
what you
again.
do is you take like a partial mulligan. So you
Discard cards you don't want, draw new ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you just put them on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah, Marble Champions works that way.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
But anyways, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really neat. I like them. There's a mechanic of similar to games like Magic. You got resources that you're gonna play out like lands, and you expend them to deploy your mechs. But so the game's called Redline, right? For a reason. So you've got your base, you got the front line, and then you've got the red line. The red line is where all the objectives are.
Okay.
So
I love that, by the way. Fighting
you're
over
gonna
the red line just sounds so cool.
You're going to be basically playing your cards. They start in either your base or your front line, and then you can move. And then once you've got your mechs, and you can like equip them with weapons and pilots and things like that. And there's interesting ways for compatibility, like the way that all works. And then you've got these awesome dials. And it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a B for your base. You're going to pick and secretly just assign all your dials, so you don't know which objective you're going to go to.
For.
Now,
Right,
I had
right.
a way to peek at one of Pete's,
So you
and
know
then you
where he
could
was going.
readjust.
Right, okay.
Right? There's other things that will let you do those kind of things. Like I had a tactics card, which let me stop Pete's mech from moving. It was called Stuck in the Mud.
Oh, nice.
So it was stuck and couldn't be deployed.
That's funny.
So there's all kinds of different things like that. The way combat, I think, just took a minute to understand. But once we understood it, no big deal.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Every mech has a speed. That's your initiative. They attack in that order.
Right. The lighter mechs don't hit as hard.
Sure.
You know, because they're
roll
faster.
You roll a die and you have aim and you have to hit faster than the enemy mech's speed because they can dodge. And if you do, then you do the damage listed on your mech to the enemy.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And then when you're either going to capture all 5 objectives and hold them till the end of the actual round. So if you go first, it's harder to do, right? Because the other player has the opportunity to react.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the other way is as you take an objective, you can damage the base. So you can either damage mechs in the base, or you could damage the general or the base itself. And by damaging the base itself, you're just raising cards off the top of the deck. So you mill that deck down.
Yeah.
And then when it's gone, game over.
The generals are like asymmetric powers.
Right,
Cool.
right. There's going to be more stuff coming out. We will actually have the designer on sometime soon for an interview about it.
Yeah.
But we'll just make sure you guys play before that even happens because we want to do a review for it. But
Sure,
overall, man,
I honestly do feel like I could give a review at this point. I sat right next to you, watched the entire gameplay from beginning to finish.
Yeah.
I just didn't make the decisions,
And
but I completely understand the game.
the nice thing, I'm going to give you a rare compliment, is that I knew that Dan would be okay with just observing and like.
He likes to watch.
Right, I honestly do.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
no,
nice.
but
It's nice to have someone just sitting there with the rule book.
But that
too,
was
and
some of
someone
it
be
like, hey,
yeah.
what does Overwatch mean? Oh well, it means this. Cool, thanks. You know,
Yeah.
and in my spare time, I'm just reading it so that I know kind of the chapters.
Show where
and
Tim's going wrong at.
yeah, exactly.
Still won.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Redline. It was really solid. I'm really happy. Again,
Nice.
a Kickstarter I saw and thought was cool, and I backed it. And their turnaround was like 9-10 months. I mean, it was
That's
quick.
fast. Yeah.
From getting printed and shipped. You know, from
It is a
funding.
smaller boxed game than I
Yeah,
thought it was
yeah,
going to be.
it's
Just from the pictures.
right.
But I mean, it doesn't need to be bigger.
Right.
It's all cards. And then the couple, your dice for your recon and your
right,
damage
and you could
stuff.
get the miniatures or whatever.
Right, and you
the
get miniatures
Kickstarter
mechs
thing.
that you basically just put on your cards
Yeah.
to have it look cool.
I guess
but
you could, just
it's
place
just
it on.
for the look.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Aesthetics. I didn't get the mechs, but I'm really happy I got the card game.
Nice.
It's really solid.
Yeah, you have Scythe anyway.
Yeah,
Just pull out the mechs.
There you go.
I do. I've got GKR. From
But yeah, I thought it looked really cool. Partly, I might have a slight bias. It has, I've talked about this in the past. It has an insane amount of mechanics and similar to a card game I was working on years ago.
Right.
And to see it all work and stuff, I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I wanted to design something like this, and to see someone who pulled it off, I thought it looked like it played really well.
really good. Really
That's
good.
all I got.
Yeah. So I played another one, and we actually ended up playing it twice. We enjoyed it so much.
I'm just kidding. What
No.
was it?
So Brain Crack Studios, Venice. We
right
learned Venice,
on.
played it, and we really liked
That's
it.
another really fast game too, right?
It said
Not that
20
one.
minutes a
Oh,
player.
no, it's Mercado.
Yeah.
No,
was the
Mercado is
fast one,
Boa.
yeah.
Correct. This one ended up taking us probably 2 hours to play, but
Okay.
it did
Still
not
played twice.
and we still played twice. It didn't feel like it drug at all.
Sure.
Like, it was.
And that's where you're moving the boats up and down the canal.
Yeah.
And things
So
like that.
the components are super neat. So you flip the board out. It's got a bunch of canals all over the place. You randomly put these tiles out that are like different buildings, and then there's a couple of buildings that are always out, right?
Right.
And then you place your boats out and whatnot. And you have 2 each. And at the start of your turn, you're going to pick which gondola you want to be in.
Right.
And then after that, you have to move it from one to the other unless you pay $3 to stay in the one that you're
Sure.
in. And then your first movement is free. So you go as you're moving down like the canals, you go over like money spots. So the first one will be free. If you've got a
Yep.
bridge built, you can go underneath the bridge, and that
Nice.
saves you money and earns you money actually. But then, as you go around to these different buildings, you stop at them, and then you place a worker. They're divided into 4 sections, and so you put the worker on the first section, and then if you stop there again, you can like advance that worker, like you're training them, and he gets better. And then when you activate that, you get to activate all of the abilities that are
Nice.
on there. And then as other people go on there, you can only have 1 person per section, except for the last one. So if I'm on that first section, then somebody else goes there, and they put a guy on there, that advances my guy, and so like you kind of push the workers around and level
Right.
them up. And it's really neat because, man, you get toward the end, and I had a bunch of money, and I was down to the last like mission card. I was like, man, I need like 3 grays and an orange. I was like, okay, there's those. Okay, so I'm paying a bunch of money, and I'm going back because you can also go past the section. If you've got a worker there already, you can just activate it as you go past and like pick up all the cubes you need and go around. And so it's kind of like pick up and delivery, but it's got a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And then there's also like shady things going on too, where like if your boat's past somebody else's boat, you have a meeting, and then you have to pay like scrolls, basically like show your papers, or you gain intrigue. And at the end of the game, if you've got intrigue, you have to make sure you take care of it because whoever has the most intrigue gets arrested, and they cannot win regardless of the number of points they have.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of neat. So you want to do some things and gain intrigue because that allows you to do like, oh, if you have more intrigue, you get to gain more points on
Sure,
this.
so it's like the Skulls of Skullport or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
From Lords of Waterdeep. Does
Yeah.
the same kind of thing where you're like, man, you can use these crazy abilities if
Get
you
all this
take
infamy.
madness
Yes,
or whatever.
but
whatever
yeah.
it's called.
But we really enjoyed the game. My biggest knock on it would be that the boats are big because with kind of like the Black Fleet where you can put the boxes on there, all the boxes fit on your little boats, right? So as you go around, you carry them. And the canals are kind of small. So like as you got 3 people in like one section, it's kind of like
Gets
crowded
real
up.
snug, right?
Yeah, and so like what they have is like the board is double-sided, and it's just daytime, nighttime, and it's just aesthetic. There's no real big thing to it. I really would have liked to have seen them do on the backside like a blown-up version like Scythe did, and then you could buy for $5 or $10 like the extras board to attach on it to make it a much bigger, make the canals bigger. And then the other thing is the building tiles are small, so when you put your worker on there, they do kind of block like the symbols on there.
Sure.
So you're constantly moving them to see what's underneath them.
Right.
So with the expanded board, you could have room on the outside of the building to move your guys.
So you think
would
there'll be
see
like
everything.
a play mat eventually?
Yeah, maybe a playmat, or like I said, if just under the second edition, instead of doing
Sure.
the other side that way, you just do half a board, then you can do like a $5-10 expansion and sell the secondary board as a bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like we played it a second time because we did play one rule slightly wrong because like the main buildings that are on there, you can't put workers on them, but we were activating them as if we had workers on them.
Okay.
And we both kind of did it the same amount, so we didn't really think like one person had a major advantage over the other person. But like, well, let's just play it again the right way. And we still really enjoyed it. And it's a
Great
time.
way to trick people into playing a game with you twice.
Yeah. Oh, did we play that wrong? We should play again.
Just teach them wrong the first time.
Yeah.
That's my motto. Right on.
So yeah, Venice was it.
Venice.
Yeah. So now I'm excited to check out like Ragusa
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
other one. Yeah.
Yep. I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena.
Nice.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
Oh, the Forgotten Realms stuff is really good.
It is so cool.
It's fun.
I was so happy when I pulled that Dritz out. He's not very expensive, but he's a Dritz.
Yeah. Nope,
And I got
that's
a Tiamat too.
Hands board. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, there went that.
So
also playing Ascension online. Hey, hit us up with a message if you want to play Ascension or Magic or Star Realms. Also play that. I've had ongoing games with Pat and Julia for
I would say just follow us on
years.
Facebook in the
Yep.
description,
Yep.
and we'll talk about if we're doing anything like those,
Or
Magic
Blood on the
Ascension
Clock Tower.
or Blood on the Clock Tower. We'll
Yep.
invite you guys all into
Get
that
those
stuff.
ramped up
Yep.
again. Going
that was a
again
pretty
soon.
good weekend of games for not being a
Yeah,
gaming weekend.
Not bad
I guess
at
every weekend's
all.
a gaming weekend.
Every
When I'm there.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's get into news, I suppose.
Okay, let's somber up a bit then. Huh?
Yeah. So in just sort of
News.
like downer gross news, Blizzard and Activision, right? Same company. Huge legal trouble after a 2-year investigation of like sexual harassment charges. And it's pretty serious. I'm not going to get into it all here, but if you want, look it up and read some of the stuff going on. It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
It is pretty horrible. And I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, because they're tied to, not only a ton of major
There's a lot of
video
pies.
game
Major,
franchises,
yeah.
right? But I mean, Hearthstone is huge. World of Warcraft is huge. Call of Duty, Diablo. I mean, there's a lot of properties.
Overwatch.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
StarCraft.
properties. Yep. That is just, it's really gross.
Yep.
It's really
A lot
gross.
of people got to be jerks.
It's
Don't
just,
be a jerk.
ugh.
Life
They're
advice.
being worse than jerks.
Yeah.
They're being way worse than jerks.
Why is our tagline "Let's talk about games"? Our tagline should just be "Don't be jerks."
Don't be jerks. But okay, so let's get into some other not gross news.
And somber.
Yeah, a game that I really enjoyed, but I only played once. But it was just Dan and I that played. Need to play again.
it?
Actually, need to play with Bob because I think Bob would really dig it. Black Rose Wars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Black Rose Wars is announced. There's a new Kickstarter, Rebirth, for an
Okay.
expansion. That's Ludus Magnus Studios, I believe.
I think so.
August 24th, they're going to have a Kickstarter coming. So you can get on their Facebook page.
Expect big minis.
Yeah.
I would say expect to be able to get the base game as well.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people asking that question, and in other campaigns that they've run, they've not offered the base game.
Really?
Wow. That's
Just
surprising.
seems unlikely.
It seems unlikely because Black Rose Wars is kind of hard to get.
Yeah.
But
It's like the only way.
But anyways, it's a really neat game where you're all these mages showing up to the Black Rose to become the dominant mage, right?
Right.
And so there's things you're going to do as you're moving through the rooms. You're casting spells. You're activating rooms. You're summoning creatures. The mages can attack each other. And you can damage the rooms, so then they flip over and they can't be used anymore because as you're casting spells, you're like
dealing damage and blowing things up and
it's just a lot of really neat things conceptually. The other cool thing is you're going to pick like a school of magic to start with, but then you basically can just start going into all the other schools of magic and getting spells out of there.
You're like building your deck through gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah. You're like, nah, I want some time manipulation spells. I want destruction magic. I forget what all the schools are now.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. See, the thing is, you always go with time manipulation first, because then you can have all the time to learn all the other
There
things.
you
just
go.
go back and learn everything else.
Yeah.
Calm down, he who remains.
I didn't love it, but
I think we need to play with a higher player count, and also it's more my style of game.
I think
too.
1v1, is not the way to play it personally. I also just tend to not love skirmish games, especially 1v1, because it's just you guys beating up on each other. It's not fun. It's just
but there's other goals, right? There's
and again, that's the thing. The game is super well made, and the mechanics in it are very interesting. The deck building mechanic while playing, and the room destruction and controlling that, and moving the miniatures around, and spawning creatures to fight alongside you and cast spell stuff. It's all very well done. I don't know. I want to play it again.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I mean, that was the thing, right? Is like at a higher
really
player
late at night,
count,
like always.
I think it would be more interesting. But and then the other bit of news I have is the Spiel des Jahres winners.
I saw that.
Who's that?
So Spiel des Jahres, the game of the year, they've announced their winner and their Kinderspiel, which is the family game of the year.
Okay.
I've not played either of these games.
Uh-oh.
Actually, one of them I don't even know if I've heard of.
Okay.
But now that I see it, I really want to play it.
Okay.
So MicroMacro Crime City.
You really want to play that?
I do.
First of all, I wouldn't say play. It's
solve.
It's like I Spy. Do you play I Spy,
no,
or
it
you
is
just stare
not.
at a picture?
No, you're going to go around the city and you're going to talk to people and you're trying to solve the mystery. It's like Sherlock Holmes.
Talk to people. So from the gameplay that I've seen, it's you are solving crimes via pictures. Like,
is that what it is?
That's what I see. Like
a
it's literally
Mysterium
it's a giant paper with a bunch of hand-drawn people in a city on it, right? And you are given a dead body. So you look, and there's like a magnifying glass that comes with it, and there's a dead body here, and you're working together to backtrack his life and find him in other places and piece his day together and find where he was killed and who killed him, right? Like and find out why he was killed. Basically, you're backtracking someone's life. From what I can tell, it's just using your eyes and backtracking his life. There's no talking to people like that.
No reading
I could be
passages.
wrong, but from what I understand, it's just using your eyes and
Like
the
where's
pictures.
Waldoing this guy's life?
Exactly. That's from what I've seen, and it does not interest me, but people are loving it.
Well,
I'm
going to say I think you have to be wrong just because there's no way that something like that.
Where's Waldo the board game?
I know!
Who killed Waldo the board game?
I know. Again, I am not an expert on this game. I could be wrong. That is all I have seen people talk about.
Here's one that you might like then. So Paleo won the Kennerspiel. So Paleo is a cooperative deck building game. And so basically you are cavemen and you're trying to survive, work together to survive. And so you're going to explore different locations. You're going to draw different cards to give you. It's almost like Robinson Crusoe light.
I was going to say
because you could draw like a snake bite.
Isn't this kind of like no, maybe not. What's the where you're saving animals? The co-op game where you're saving animals.
Endangered?
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
No, way different.
I only saw a little bit on it, and I was like, "Is that like Endangered?" I can't tell. So okay.
No, but this looks pretty interesting. I thought because you're working together. So if somebody gets a snake bite, then like hopefully
I've got
somebody
anti-venom cards.
Yeah. Basically, somebody needs to find that to keep everybody alive as long as you can, like a less hard version of Grizzled.
I like
maybe?
the art.
Yeah, or Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah.
I like the art. Cover's
So-
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be cool. Paleo. I mean, it's got to be something there, right? It won Family Game of the Year.
Yeah, it'll sell like crazy now.
Yeah, sure will.
That's how it works.
Sure will. I don't know. I think MicroMacro. I really want you to be wrong about that.
I want me to be wrong too. Trust me, because I just didn't get the appeal
You
when
don't
they were
get
like,
it.
"Oh, it's like
Yeah.
where's Waldo?"
Right. Did you play Holding On, The Life of Billy Kerr, where you're trying to, the guy's in a coma and
No.
you're like the doctors and you're assigning,
No.
you're assigning you're
Let's play
assigning
something else.
nurses and doctors to different shifts, and then they're getting different information, which lets you draw different cards, and you're trying to piece together what is
What's
happening.
wrong
to
with him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Nope.
not even diagnosing, but like just his whole history.
Oh.
And so you're playing through, and you're trying to figure out, like, oh, is this guy involved in this?
Weird.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil things.
Blink once if yes.
But it's pretty interesting. And then there's also you're trying to keep him alive and stable because you can draw like event cards where, crises.
Cardiac arrest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happen and stuff. It's
Nice.
kind of neat,
All right.
but whatever.
That's
That's my news.
That's a little bit of news. I got a little bit of news. Renegade Game Studios,
Yeah.
right? So Clank and
small
whatnot.
company, right?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. In October, they have a new game coming out, G.I. Joe, the Deck Builder.
yeah. I was hoping somebody was going to talk about it.
Yeah, it looks cool. Dozens of G.I. Joe heroes and vehicles, 36 unique missions, play solo or with friends in this cooperative game, includes expert mode for even greater challenges.
I'm
So-
calling it right now. The end of the rule book
Yep.
is going to say, now you know how to play, and
knowing
knowing is half the battle.
battle.
I promise you it will say that at the end of the rule book.
I'm-
Yeah. They have
so-
little PSAs in there, like pork chop sandwiches. Yeah.
So we haven't played this yet. We're going to play this at some point in time.
Go, go, Power Rangers.
The question I've seen asked about the G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Is it just the G.I. Joe version
Oh,
of
sure.
Power
this game?
Rangers.
Reskin.
Because
Sure.
this is Renegade,
Sure.
and I believe there's a Transformers one coming as well.
Yes.
So the question will be, and
Well, I would definitely play G.I. Joe over Power Rangers.
Not me too, but also I think Renegade's better than that.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what
I'd
I've
like to
played
think
from them,
so.
I don't
It might
they-
be similar,
Exactly,
like
but like-
Cryptozoic, right? Because they make different deck builders that are
Right.
similar.
Right,
I
but
mean,
their
yeah.
Lord of the Rings deck building game is different enough from
Yeah.
the DC.
Yeah, I didn't care for that one as much. I'd rather have a power out than a random card in my deck.
I mean, what I'm saying is I think the base game will be the same, but there'll be some mechanic in it that's new that's thematic to G.I. Joe.
Right.
Right.
Red and blue lasers.
Right.
That's right. That's how you can tell. That's how you
You
can
have a
tell.
new resource called knowledge.
Yes.
Oh,
because
it's half the
knowing-
battle.
Uh,
But do you get
Same
pork chop
joke.
sandwiches?
Yes, exactly. was
I want the
wondering.
You get
Joseph
that.
I get
Gordon-Levitt.
that. I said it. Of course I get it.
I want the Joseph Gordon-Levitt card, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the movie.
Okay.
Okay. I guess it's timed aptly with the Snake Eyes movie coming out, right?
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yep.
What else you got?
That
News?
is it.
News?
I don't.
No,
I knew
that's
I knew the Spiel winners, but I didn't have anything else.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's talk about crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding.
Thanks, guys.
Have you guys seen Divinus?
I have
on-
seen that.
on Game
Divinus?
Yeah.
Divinus?
Divinus.
I don't know. That's how I would
Oh, I talked about this before. This looks really cool.
Yep.
It is Lucky Duck Games.
Okay.
So it's app based,
Yep.
similar to Destiny's, which we got to play,
Which we did enjoy.
and I really like that.
Yeah.
And then there's also Chronicles of Crime, right?
Right, which is very cool.
Which is super cool. So you're going to take on the role of a demigod. So basically, the Norse gods are battling the Greek gods, and then there's also barbarians, and you're kind of interacting. And then basically, you're like, while all the big guys are fighting, you're working on like building up your own power base. So that when the smoke clears, you are now the dominant deity. But yeah, so there's tile laying, there's dice manipulation, there's a legacy style to it. So as you play through, and then like most legacy games, there's an eternal mode which is available once you finish the campaign.
Okay.
So
you keep playing on.
I
afterwards.
assume your board state
Sure.
or whatever. But anyways, it's on GameFound right now. I didn't even look at the price. I was like, ooh, this
Oh,
looks
yeah.
cool. This looks cool. This looks cool. It's way funded. There's a ton of time on it. So why don't you go while I look up the
Well,
price?
I
for
am actually
GameFound?
going to go. I wasn't going to go next, and I wasn't going to talk about. I
Okay.
have two. One
Okay.
is tiny, and I was going to talk about the tiny one first. But actually, I'm going to talk about the other one first because in my first game, you're a demigod. And I thought that was hilarious that you
Oh,
brought
maybe
that one up
no. You
again.
know what? Divinus hasn't launched as this has started, and I don't think they tell you the price point yet.
Okay.
So
But
I'm in the
launching
clear.
Soon, though?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So
By the time
the
this
time you
comes
see
out,
this.
this is out.
live. Yeah.
Correct.
So Oros by
Yes.
I looked it up. I believe it is pronounced Esk Games. Esk is an Old English word for ash, evidently. I was trying to find the research because I was like, that's a weird name. So I was trying to look it up.
I always use esk as in like a ish.
It's AESC.
Oh, okay, never
Yeah,
mind, not
exactly.
E, okay.
But yes, this is their first Kickstarter, and it looks like it's the designer's first game.
Oh, okay.
And it is closing on August 12th. So that's how much time you guys have whenever you see this, of 2021, obviously. A 1 to 4 player game listed as 30 minutes per player. There is a $50 option for the base game, a $75 option for the deluxe edition, and a $750 option. But anyway, yeah, it's great. There's like silver-lined box and like travel to play with the developer or the designer, and like and I was just like, man, dude, good luck. I can't. Yeah. But you know,
have fun.
I would if I could, probably. You know, if I could just like,
for sure.
But yeah. So this is, like I said, you're demigods, and there's a map, and there are tiles of like Earth on this map, and you are controlling this and your followers in ways of creating new land. So you might be crashing lands together to turn them into bigger lands and eventually mountains, right? You are causing volcanoes to erupt to create new land, right? And that's where you make more land to bash together. It's a worker placement, tile shifting, area development game. It has this really cool mechanic too, where the tiles on the outside, you can move tiles around, you know, as you're shaping the earth basically, and the tiles on the outside are kind of in a wheel, so they keep circling as everything on the inside moves on their own, right? You take 3 actions on your turn, it looks like, and again, you erupt volcanoes. There's an automa, and yeah, so one of the things that really caught my eye is, well, first of all, I just want to give a shout out to the designer, and the how to play video they did is one of the best how to play videos I've seen for a Kickstarter. And the fact that this is their first Kickstarter, I was just blown away. I had to like message them and just say, good job, guys. Like, I learned how to play your guys' game so fast. It's a super well-made professional video. You're amazing at teaching a game. I know you designed it, but you're amazing at teaching a game, you know? But yeah, so all that out of the way though. So there's tracks, and you're putting your worker at a worker at the bottom of the track. This is the worker placement that you want to activate. So you want to spawn volcanoes, right? You put it at the bottom of that track, and then there are tiers, and you are increasing your knowledge of that skill, and you're moving this piece up, and it's uncovering more. So like, you know, at the first you can only spawn 1 volcano, then you can spawn 1 level 2 volcano, then you can spawn 2 volcanoes, right? And there's like 4 or 5 different abilities, and you're leveling all those up to do better at all of them, right? And then it's the first to a certain amount of points. You guys are going up this little like Mayan-looking building. I don't know what those are called. And
a ziggurat?
Certain, yeah, actually, I think that's it. Yeah, good job. Very well done. And then on the scoreboard, some are red. Whenever someone passes, the first time each red spot is passed or landed on by anyone, all the volcanoes erupt to create new land and everything. And it's just the components for this game and the idea behind this game look incredible.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with Oros. I just randomly stumbled upon this one. And like I said, the how to play was so good, and I watched the whole thing, and I've just been looking at it ever since. And we might, again, this is a might, but we might be able to get an interview lined up with the designer.
Right.
Nice.
So we're working on that and seeing what's going to happen. But yeah, so there you go. I realize now that I didn't write down when it was going to ship, which I usually do. But oh well.
I could tell you,
I'm
October
pretty sure
2022.
there you go.
What?
So next year sometime.
Oh, 2022, not 2021.
Yeah.
I was like having a.
I know. I was just reading a thing about 2021.
3 months.
Oh, last year. Oh wait, it's still
That's
2021.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just over a year. That's very reasonable.
Yep.
And hopefully, shipping's calmed down by then.
Right.
So, you know,
Hopefully.
don't get buried on that.
Oros by Esk Games.
Yes.
Check it out.
Man,
it looks very
cool.
interesting.
Looks super cool.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, so I got one. Game came out earlier this year called Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dungeon crawler type of
It's a
game with
monster.
big, crazy minis in it and
This
whatnot.
is a monster.
Yes. They are releasing a sequel, which is called The Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness Apocalypse. And it carries on the story. Yeah, it's a mouthful.
How many words can we put in
I know.
this title?
But it carries on the story of like the main character. It's very legacy, where you're making decisions and what you make affects the game later on. And they have said that you can get the original stuff from the original run, the original campaign.
Right.
It's on GameFound right now. It says 11 days left. So by the time this airs, you'll have about a week or so left to get it. So the first week of August, it'll be running out. So if you're interested in dungeon crawly type of big mini game, this looks right up that alley. Their minis are big, crazy,
amazing.
campaign-driven story. Yeah, it's super funded. So wicked safe.
Oh man.
Wicked safe,
Yeah.
Bob.
But it's going to be like $115.
It's a little pricey, but there's a lot of plastic in there. But yeah.
$340.
Yeah, the original stuff they were
All
saying is
in.
like it was 340. Yeah, save yourself $40-$50.
Yeah.
If you buy the original stuff, you save $185 from retail, like
Right.
the MSRP.
Yep.
So if you're interested in getting it, this is the way to save
This
yourself.
is the way.
most
So
money.
Jason from Board Game Mechanics.
Yeah.
Only
This is your
All up in there,
$339.
yeah, it's just right
99
underneath your
cents.
allowance.
Just
Yeah.
under your average allowance per Kickstarter.
It does have I don't think it has enough plastic, honestly. for
Maybe
it.
not enough
Yeah,
minis for Jason.
there are tracks though. I did see. So there's a
Oh,
couple
he's
of
out then.
tracks.
He's out. He doesn't like tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh.
tracks.
yeah. The mini. I mean, ridiculous. Yeah,
Golly, Death Horseman
It's like-
is crazy.
yeah,
Insane.
insane.
In the membrane.
Yep. Do you want to do your other one there, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. So this one is a much smaller game. I just like this Mysterium feeling that this has.
Okay.
So it's called Turing. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Oh, sounds familiar.
Ending August 18th by Mano Kent Games. 2 to 6 players, 10 to 30 minutes, $14 to $90. But I mean, the 90 is like whatever, all this crazy stuff, I'm sure. And shipping April 2022. So the interesting thing about this is that I have a hand of cards. I didn't super look into this. I get the basics because it's a pretty light game, it seems. I have a hand of cards, and there's going to be a card that says either left or right on it that I look at, and it's going to make me play either my leftmost or rightmost card, and I play that down. Then out of all the remaining cards, I choose a card to play down, both face up, okay? Then I do that again and again, and I have 3 cards laid down in 2 piles. You guys don't see which ones I'm putting down, but you guys see 2 piles. You have to choose which one did the AI decide to play and which one did I decide to play because like 3 of the cards will have something
combos,
in common,
continuity.
right? So there's something that links these 3. I'm playing them on purpose, to where the
like
other 3 are
Detective
random
Club.
completely, right? And you're kind of working together to figure out which one is the AI and which one is the human. And that's the whole thing. And you're just
Wow.
and you're just working together and getting the little Turing test done,
So,
right?
so the whole thing is
Oh,
basically what do
Turing
they call
test.
that test? The where you look at their eyeball and see if it moves, or the
I was
the
just thinking of Blade
test?
Runner.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying. That's that test.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just saying
There's a name
it's
for it.
it's a Turing test. That's why the game's called that. That's when you're testing an AI's intelligence, right?
Right.
It's a Turing
Sure,
test.
but there's a Blade
Sure.
Runner one.
I know.
For checking
Right.
there.
Void
but-
Comp.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that.
But
Okay.
that's literally all I had. You play 3 rounds, and then you just hope that you win as a team, right?
Otherwise,
And I like. that
Or
it's
otherwise
that-
the AIs have become too intelligent.
That's right. You
Or
can't
you're just
tell them
too
apart.
dumb to- yeah.
Yeah.
But
probably
I
more
just
likely.
like that super light and cheap Mysterium kind of game that you can just play with
Yeah.
someone
How much
you're
is
close to. 14.
Oh, that's
Oh,
not
super
bad.
cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Oh,
Right?
and the art is stunning abstract pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stunning. Like I'm saying, you think like the Dixit pictures and stuff. Whoever made this game obviously has the rights to some library of a bunch of abstract pictures that are. I love them.
Oh, sure.
They are amazing.
But how do you
looking.
really feel about it?
They're okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, if Jeff finds some, he can put some on the screen right here to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I love the artwork in
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah. No,
That
that's
was
awesome.
that was again.
That sounds really cool.
The name and the main picture is what gets me to click on a crowdfunding game, and it had both great. I
Both.
love Turing. I was like, ooh, a Turing test, okay. And then this stunning art combined, I clicked.
That's
Interesting.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. All right. Any other crowdfunders?
That's all I got.
That's it.
Crowdfundings. All right. Well, Dan,
Yeah?
what's coming up next?
It's time for an interview with Alex, one of the designers of Runes of Zun. And
Huge jingle. The longest jingle ever.
well, I took inspiration from that board game you just talked about. I was
okay.
like, how many words can I fit in
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk with Alex. We're super excited to talk to Alex. We're fans of Runes of Zun. We have a review for it right here before we even go into the interview. But Tim, go ahead and introduce Alex for us.
Thanks, Dan. I'm so excited because today we have Runes of Zun designer Alex Inoue. I got it. Bam!
Nailed it.
Anyways, and this is by Gobico Games. Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about Runes of Zun before we start pressuring Alex for all the information?
Sure, yeah, the guy who did design the game. We'll talk a little bit about how the game goes. So this is a card game.
Okay, that's enough.
Yep.
All right, Alex, please tell us, what is Runes of Zun and how did you come up with it?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I'm the current designer, but not the original designer.
Cool.
So on the box, you'll see Dave Ballmer.
Yep.
He's the original member of Gobico, and but we are working on a lot of projects, and we're a small team. So right now, I'm in charge of a lot of what happens with the next things coming out for Runes of Zun.
Awesome.
The original Runes of Zun, though, I could tell you about the original design because I was there.
Yeah.
A long time ago. So this was, goodness, maybe about 20 years ago, maybe a little more.
Wow.
We were doing kind of rune-based cards. And
Okay.
we were saying, okay, look, this rune is like a syllable, and that rune's another syllable, and they have an aspect, like health, damage,
Okay.
some trait, and we would combine them to make these cute words, like Weegen, and other fun things like that. And you would make your own spells, and you'd have to say it, and it was this whole huge system. But that was the original inspiration. And then years later, Dave wanted a game to play that wasn't quite as hard as a lot of these deck builders, or especially TCGs like Magic the Gathering,
Right.
but not quite as loosey-goosey, easy, simple as some more simple party games,
Sure.
like Uno
Yeah,
is
right,
what
right.
we use.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a game that you could pick up and play, but still have that feeling of battling it out.
So when
and
it
coming up with
was
cool strategies.
when it was like word-based runes, was it still everybody just kind of battling each other and trying to knock out?
Yeah, I'd say it was still about doing damage and health, but it wasn't. To be honest, I'm not sure how far it made it in the development process back then.
Sure.
But
No,
You know,
that's a
and then
really
it was
neat
shelved for a
idea,
long time.
but really seems like it would be hard to implement without, like, just being as an independent designer, right? If you're going to like pop something out, like to get people to buy into the wordplay. I mean, I think you could get like a small group of people that would like totally be into it, but then appealing to like a
Some
mass.
yeah. Some people might not want to
Yeah.
say the words.
It's got to be
out
a
loud.
good feeling, too, to know that Skyrim just straight up plagiarized you.
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Ugh, Bethesda's in trouble. Yeah. So when you came in then and started helping out, like what was your role as far as like the later design and the
Yeah.
new implementation?
I'm so good at that.
Yeah, so I know it looks very nice. When I came in, a lot of the original Runes of Zun cards that you get with the base game, so attacks, restores, boost, that kind of core mechanic, and the reactions too. There were some other iterations of them way back and a couple years ago. So I came in around then, but I didn't have a big role until a little bit later. But back then, it was mostly a game. It just, we need a lot of testing. We need to make sure it was fair. We need to make sure the effects were tuned well enough that they played well. Game didn't last too long. The health totals, a lot of these things changed. A lot of the original cards, though, the spirit and most of the effect, if not all of it, they've been there for a couple of years. The original cards. We added a couple, so I was there for some of the reactions. They were overhauled or just replaced.
Yeah.
So those changed when I came in. I helped with that because there were some that felt bad for gameplay, and so we decided to try a few different things. There's a lot of halting gameplay, I think, with some older versions.
Sure.
Or prolonged gameplay, a lot of healing. That the health tier system came up later in development.
It is
love
genius.
the health tier system.
Yeah,
I love it.
When we did our review for this game, which I'll snap up there, that was one of my biggest takeaways, is just how, because an issue with the game like this, like you're saying, is it going to overstay its welcome because of that ending team up mechanic and stuff like that? And this system not only stops that from being possible, but it also is a deterrent to the team up mechanic. Because if Bob and I just keep wailing on Tim, then by the time Bob and I are fighting, we're still in the first health tier, So you kind of look at it and you're like, I could kill Tim right now, but if I just do this one damage to Bob, he drops an entire health tier, and that is huge.
Right.
Like he can't heal back. Like, yeah, this system it really does, I think, lift this game up a level.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great. That's my little rant on the health tier system.
We were happy to hear that on the video. I found y'all. I didn't even notice that you had reached out through Facebook, and that's my miss. We have other people looking at Facebook, but I just looked at
you're good.
YouTube, Runes of Zun, and found y'all, and I was like, oh dang! And I saw the whole video. It was great, but especially HP Tracker, we didn't even think about it to the degree that you did, which
Sure.
is because we were like, we don't want the game to last too long. We didn't even think about the anti-team up thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
that's
as someone who's played it quite a bit, it definitely comes into play. It
oh no,
definitely
it
is a
really
deterrent
does.
to that.
It
yeah.
really does. No, and when you put it into words, like, because we knew it there in gameplay, we would never put it into words like that. So it was really nice to hear another perspective on the tiers, because we've had people get the game, but people say, oh, we love it, but no one's actually mentioned the HP tiers.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Sure. Yeah, I mean, you guys, not to just like suck up to y'all, but you guys do like a lot of things really,
You are very good at that.
really well.
Yeah.
Shut up. Was that not? I love the iconography that you guys use, because it's a lot to explain like right off the bat, but once you're playing and you get through, just a couple of turns and you start to just go, oh yeah, like this will
play on this. This can play on this.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Without having to ask, like, hey, can I play this on this? Okay, I don't have that card. I was just wondering if I could do that if I were to get that card. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But you guys really did a nice job, I think, because iconography really, if you've got strong iconography, it makes having to go to the rule book,
Right.
you don't have to
Lot
do
less.
that near as much,
Yeah,
right? And you guys just really nailed it with that. And I don't know. I mean, the game we played before doing the review, and we had played it. I played it
Couple times
before,
yeah.
but the game we played, it was Jeff even playing? Was it just three of us?
I think it was just three
Just
of us.
three of us.
Just three of us, and it was like, I mean, it was a knockdown, drag out, like
Yeah.
standing up
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
as cards are getting played. Dan
Back
was
on-
out,
Yeah.
but was like watching the cards get played as Bob and I were like ping ponging back and forth. It was, I
I'm
mean,
down to one. I'll hit you. I'll reverse it. I'll reverse it back.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
there was
fine.
so many times where we were down to 1 health, would get back up to 4,
Yeah.
back down to 1, but it was so exciting. I don't know that that it didn't matter.
Tense, it was tense.
Yeah, and
Very-
it's still,
yeah.
it's not like it went on another half hour. It was really
Right.
another 5
Which
minutes.
is the nice thing about those tiers again. It's like, oh, Tim could have like gotten back up to like 6 or 7 health if he was
Right.
able to, but since those tiers keep him down there, it keeps from the dragging out at the end like that.
Right. Yeah, I just really, oh gosh, the game, that game specifically. But I felt like the previous games had also kind of had a similar thing where usually the team up aspect of it, right, kind of prevents a runaway leader.
You're right.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we
No,
gotta hit this guy and get him down a little
It
bit.
it tends to promote intelligent moves over like emotional moves.
Oh, right.
I
Right,
want to
yeah.
attack Tim.
Right.
Yeah.
The
Right.
smart move is to attack Bob. Right? Like it tends to help with that quite a
As
bit.
a rule of life,
Yeah.
it is a smart rule to attack Bob. Any game, smart
fair.
rule.
Well, no, I appreciate. Yeah, the design. Some of it came from just our size. We were like, we want something we could put out that looks good, but like, do we even want to go down that path of like detailed character art or any of that
sure.
other stuff? So we went all in on the really readable, really strong visual, and I'm quite surprised and glad. A lot of people have said they liked it, not just you guys, and I'm really glad, because being able to read the table is important. Being able to, like you said, read the cards.
Right.
We really tried to do our best to make it, easy to pick up and just try to start playing.
Yeah. There's not a lot of teaching time.
Yep.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Especially for a game like this, right? You don't want to spend 30 minutes teaching a game that you will play for maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
And again, I think and I mean this as a compliment, is the simplified design, right? The stark colors, the very clear runes. I mean, the runes are just sort of like on themselves are just like a nice flavor, but then you've got like the icons on the side that can tell you what can be paired with.
Yeah. So while they're splayed in your hand, you can read them without having to look at every one individually.
Right.
The game does a great job of telling you what the card does with the sentence and showing you how you can affect the card
Yeah.
on the bottom left. And
Right.
those are the two
Yep.
most important things you need.
Right.
No,
So-
they are. Yeah. No, exactly. And that's where I came in, especially even in the original game. I'm a writer, so before this I was writing, trying to write fiction stories. I write science fiction, fantasy on the side, and I came into this also loving games, and I had input on some of the cards direction, even in the original set, but I was especially doing the text. So that
Oh, right on.
action, bolds,
Yep.
Dave does a lot of design, so he might have had the influence of the letters, or sorry, the font, the bolding, but I took a lot at the text, how it's worded, flavored text we all kind of collaborated on, but the trying to get it clear and readable while still being, because like, do you guys see a lot of games with legalese text
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's accurate but like dense and hard to read?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That
And-
was something we were worried about, because I am the type that I want to make sure that players, if they get too clever for themselves, they can't get into bad situations with the cards.
right.
But at the same time, we also said we want people to just have fun playing, not doing this the whole time reading a card.
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
at the
because this
face.
is a just chuck the cards down on the table, beer and pretzels kind of game. I mean,
Right.
there's legit strategy,
Right.
but
I mean, my mom is the one that backed it.
Yeah.
And it's a game I can play with my family,
Right.
and it's because of the kind of stuff you're saying. My mom doesn't have to put on her bifocals and be like, what does this card mean? She just looks at her
Her
hand.
mom
She goes,
80?
yeah. But I said she doesn't have to do
Oh, okay.
But she just looks at the card and she goes, yeah, I'll play this, because it's intuitive. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's nice. I wanted to, before we go into any talk of future ideas and stuff, because
Sure.
obviously I don't even know what we can talk about, but
Sure.
I have a surprise that no one knows about. It's the new expansion.
Oh, nice.
The new thing
now
delivered.
you have nothing.
Yeah, you have nothing.
We
And
got
tell
all
your
the
mom thanks.
we got all the new stuff in. I didn't
Nice.
open it yet, but it's sitting here, so now we can be like, ooh, what do all these new insanely overpowered cards do?
Yeah.
Oh, you went to the overpowered ones first. I see.
Well,
Those
of
are the-
course.
Is that what those are?
So this is my hand.
Yeah.
And
Fine. Bob and I'll take this.
Yeah.
yeah, divine.
Give me more of those red ones.
Yeah.
Guess the top or bottom deck card type at the end of your turn, then draw it. If wrong, put this card on the bottom of the deck.
Okay.
So, there's something. Surge, reveal the top 5 cards of the deck, then take each modifier revealed. Return all other card types.
Wow.
to
Just
the
grab
top
a
the
bunch of
deck
modifiers.
in any order. And I'm not going to read the last one because spoilers.
Spoilers.
I don't know.
Tim, you can have this card, Tim.
Oh, thanks. Oh, no. Defeated. This is terrible. This game sucks, Don.
But yeah, we got the expansion in. I'm really excited to try out this Arcane Secrets. I honestly don't know what it adds because my mom backed this without my knowledge and everything.
Oh, really?
So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's a real surprise.
So
Nice.
yeah, funny story. Dan kind of sheepishly brought this in one day, because we all come in here to film, and then he's like, I don't know if you guys would be interested in this, but my mom backed this game. We played it. It's pretty fun. You guys might like it. And we played it a bunch and was like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. And then it's like, we need to do a review of this.
Right. We
And
need
then
to
we-
get that out. We keep playing it.
Yeah. Well, and then just by luck, right? You see that we, did a review and we reached out. And now here we are, which is why we needed to
That's
do
why
a review
you
of
tag
it.
your YouTube videos intelligently.
Right?
Fair.
But yeah, again though, that's sort of a testament to me of this game and the accessibility of it. And not that your mom's not your mom's not like a hardcore gamer, right?
I mean,
She's-
she beat me at Lords of Hellas.
well,
Yeah, but who
Oh.
doesn't?
Wow. Oh.
But-
Okay.
but the fact that she found this,
Right.
Yeah.
and was like, oh, this looks
Appeal
cool.
to her. Yeah.
This was the first thing she ever backed.
Kickstarter.
Wow. No, I heard that, and
Yeah.
we all were like, that's. But no, really, that's really awesome to hear, because that's the audience we want to go for. We want anyone of any age to be able to play this game.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not their favorite game, but we wanted to make sure that, because some of the other games, they feel too simple. Oh, it's only just for playing with kids together,
Right.
or they feel really tough, and you're like, oh man, I have to put hundreds of money to get the meta deck, or
Right.
the other, I just have to learn systems on systems on systems.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
this was one way we were thinking of is those people who love TCGs and having big collections, or even really complicated other board games that come out and say, hey family, or hey friends I haven't seen in a while, let's play a game, and then everyone's tortured the whole time.
Right.
Just trying to figure it out.
Right.
This was something that those people can come and say, okay, look, I brought this.
Right.
Let's learn this. And if you like this, we can play the other ones too. This
definitely
is kind of that middle ground.
Yeah,
It definitely plays a really good stepping stone. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
definitely a great way of wording it as to, maybe I won't pull out Marvel Champions, but let's play this and see how you
Right.
react.
Well, you don't
and-
want to spend 2 hours getting pummeled.
Building your
Right.
deck. Oh.
So, or like Bob building your deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy this kind of game. I mean, I like Marvel Champions a lot too.
Yeah.
But,
Of course.
But as an omnivore, right? Like there's room
Mhm.
there's
room
room in
for
my
it.
collection for a game like this because I can take it over to in-laws
Mhm.
that don't play as many games as I do,
Right.
or but this is so easily
Digestible.
taught,
Right.
digestible.
I just look forward to the day that, again, I'm not trying to insult like Uno
Oh,
and
boy.
stuff.
Sure, yeah.
It's fine,
we just
Yeah,
lost
it's
that
totally
Hasbro
fine,
subscription. We
but
just
I know, right? Ching.
Yeah.
But I look forward to the day though that games like this are sitting next to games like Uno and stuff at big box stores
Right.
and stuff like that because it's just
Here's a better
it's,
version.
It's just so much better. And again, Uno is fine. It's super fun. But take the step to games like this too, because
Yeah.
this really does take that kind of game and makes it more of a game, for lack of a better term.
Spoiler
right?
alert, Dan. You didn't read about Runes of Zun Blast, where they've got a card dispenser in the middle that just randomly shoots cards in your face. Like,
Don't tempt us.
I played this high power card. It's
Right. Yeah.
death by 1,000 cuts. It's just cards shooting at your face. I love it.
They're all thematic.
Right.
We'll run that Kickstarter one day.
Yeah.
Even if we'll
You're
set a goal for
welcome.
1,000 and ship like 5 people that game.
Right. And we'll make Dan back it.
Yep.
I mean,
That's it.
yay.
You're welcome. So, Alex,
So-
what kind of games do you play before we even get into future stuff?
Ooh,
I just
that's a good idea. I like that.
meeting other
Yeah,
gamers
that's
and being
great.
like, so what are you into?
Yeah. So
I was gonna say Uno and Magic Gathering.
no. So okay,
Uno
I'm actually a
Blast.
bit of an outlier then, I suppose, in the board game because, like Dave and Eric, they have been playing board games and keeping up. They have their own interests in certain genres, but for me, I'm probably more of a digital gamer
Okay.
overall.
We got a video gamer right here. So,
Hi. So then right now I'll give you some examples of things that I'm just playing right now. So right now I'm playing this random ARPG game I found called Last Epoch, which has been pretty fun.
heard of it, but have not looked at
It's a-
anything other than
It's still in beta, still developing. They had a Kickstarter, I don't know how long ago, but
That might be why
just
we heard of
heard of it. Heard of it, and so I tried it out. It's been a lot of fun. And I've been playing a lot of other small, like indie games, just to get a kind of a feel for what's going on around there. So, but I do like digital board-like games or card-ish
Oh,
games.
sure,
so
sure.
I've enjoyed. I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh on the
Oh,
Steam
Dan.
just to try it out and learn it because I played it when I was a kid, and I'm like, now getting back into it, and I'm like, what's happened to this game? Oh my
yeah,
goodness!
don't play the modern versions. It's
Link summon, pendulum summon.
I hate it.
Man,
I hate it.
Yeah, Dan's the Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
I'll do Xyz. Xyz is
Oh, okay,
interesting,
okay.
and I'll do it. That's as far as I'll go.
and Bob and I are the Magic the Gathering. Now,
Yeah.
Bob plays physical. I play digital.
Yep.
oh, you played Arena? Okay.
I do, because I don't have to spend any money.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Because I
don't like
spend all
the
my
game.
money on board games.
Yeah.
I don't like the game, and I'd play Arena.
And then you had kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
sponges.
I've been playing some other games I've liked recently. I liked where is it? Monster Train was pretty fun.
haven't played Monster Train.
It's a kind of a deck builder of sorts. Have you heard of Slay the Spire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to
If-
play Slay the Spire because that
Slay the
looks
Spire is
amazing.
really good.
Looks amazing. I've just been too cheap to buy it.
I'll get it on sale.
It's like
Oh,
$20,
so cheap
right?
on
It's not
sale.
that much.
And then on sale, just watch it. Put it on. Follow it on
Right.
sale.
And then when it goes on sale,
Right.
scoop it up.
Yeah.
Do you understand what follow means on Steam?
I
though?
think so.
know
It's a
that's-
button that you click,
Yeah, it's like a young
Yeah,
man's
yeah.
and
term.
it'll
We were trying to
It'll
do
make
a
this
thing
vibrate,
earlier this
and then
morning
I
on
can
Steam,
go-
and
This thing
Tim was
vibrate.
unable to get on there for
Oh
our
my gosh.
Yeah.
interview there.
Listen, it was a stupid Steam code, and I got 9 of them after,
After it was
Okay.
all over with.
after it was all over.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
launch Steam the night before the
Ugh. Correct.
Um,
Yes.
Correct.
I can't help but notice he hasn't mentioned Dead by Daylight though yet.
Yeah, that's
Oh, Dead by Daylight. No, I haven't played. I have it though.
Best video game
Keep
ever.
it up.
Dan and I played
I
Dead
need
by
to play
Daylight
more. Here's what you're telling me.
all the time.
Do
All
you do
the
like
time.
Civilization or anything like that?
Oh,
Like,
I love Civilization.
yeah. I
That's
played
fun.
that, and I play Axis and Allies 1942. There's a great
Nice.
Steam version
I was
of
gonna
that.
say
It's
anyone who
fantastic.
says he tends to like board game feeling video games probably plays a lot of Civilization.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you got me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I played every single one when they came out. Like I was tiny, relatively speaking, when the OG came out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I love the whole series.
Yeah.
Civilization.
Yeah, 5 really like opened it up for me. And like 6 was good, but man, I always go back to 5. 5 was so
5
good.
is yeah.
Yeah.
I
Five's
feel
the
like
one.
that's most people's opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6
need
is
to-
okay.
Yeah.
Whatever one I have on my iPad now is too old to run the current version.
Oh no.
Tim,
Makes me
you're
so
getting
sad.
too old to run the current version.
Oh no.
So this is where we announce Runes of Zun digital. I'm just kidding.
Dan,
Fan.
Don't send me hate
Quit
mail for
jumping.
spreading lies.
jumping ahead.
Yeah.
I don't have any insider information.
Uh-oh.
But maybe we can get some. Are there any future projects coming out then for?
So actually, yeah, I'll do some minor spoilage.
Yeah.
So okay, we do want to do something outside the physical for Runes of Zun. That is true. So that is something that we're trying to figure out if and how we can get that done.
Mhm.
Because I mean, right now we have a tabletop simulator.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Right.
super easy
So-
to do that. Yeah.
You know, that's a way you could play with people. But you know, as everyone I'm sure who's used enough tabletop simulator knows that unless you have like crazy scripts and and even then it's finicky. And you know, it would be nice to have another version that makes it cleaner, better experience. But even then, you know, we're keeping the tabletop mod up to date as well. So if you're interested playing digitally, you can't play with people. That's a great way to play as well. That's how we do our beta testing.
Right.
And we do play events in general. I'm trying to set up more events just every week to do. Anyone interested could sign up or just join and just come by and play. So, you know, that's even through there. We want to get more interaction with people, get people playing together. But you know, aside from that, there is another content for another expansion we're planning. That's content for Runes of Zun,
Uh-oh.
and I won't release too much information because I haven't gotten prior permission,
Of course.
or rather, you know, I haven't asked the others. But
Sure.
the teaser will be that they are not rune cards.
Ooh.
Asymmetric player power.
Calm down. Calm down. Don't-
Interesting.
So-
Put the cart
Something
before the
that's
horse.
not
Yeah.
runes.
And this one will probably be bigger, maybe a little bit, maybe noticeably bigger than the
then like
current
this.
packs that
Nice.
we've been releasing.
Sure.
Okay.
Right on.
So
Ooh,
those are the
standalone
things I think
expansion.
I could say without getting.
Getting in
too
trouble.
much.
Sure,
Yeah, we
sure.
don't want to get you in trouble.
Cease and desist.
I do
Another
have
one.
something that I did get approval for
Hmm.
that's coming up sooner before anything else is released. The next thing we're releasing is not a Runes of Zun project.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard, we have a few other products on our store page. We have one other Kickstarter that we've run in the past before Runes of Zun. That was a tile kind of plays like Othello in some ways, or like Go in other ways.
Is that the Kuzushi?
It's called Kazushi.
Yep.
And so that was our first Kickstarter run, and then Runes of Zun did really well, so we just kept putting content for Runes of Zun. We are actually thinking of adding a new title, and I'll say the name. It's called Inertia.
Okay. Inertia.
Like
For-
inertia.
Like Inertia, yep.
Perfect.
You got it. And this one is going to be a kind of a strategy game, but a little less intense. Again, I guess it's a middle ground. We wanted to get some of the feel of like chess, but we don't want you like trying to be grandmasters, you know,
Right.
memorizing opening books. But we also didn't want it to be like just checkers necessarily.
Sure.
So this one is a game where you don't capture, and you're on the original OG board we designed that Dave designed is very there's only a certain amount of space you can move, and when you move, you have to keep going to hit something another piece
I knew
or
it because
another board.
inertia.
Makes
That's
sense
so
with inertia.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the setting is there were two villages at other ends of like a valley a long time ago, and
Playing
they
Red
created
Rover.
this game based on that horrible winter hundreds of years ago, where the parties of hunters were all spread out in the snow, and they got hit by a blizzard, and they have to like move past each other, and they didn't fight that time because they're all starving and just get home. So, and that's the lores. You're on this ice valley, and you're sliding along and hitting the barriers, trying to make your way, almost as if you're not blind, but you can't just shoot straight home. You're trying to like maneuver around and get past the others, get past the obstacles. And the base board, when you play the kind of core board that Will recommends that you play at first, that will have a lot of blocking and forced moves, because you can't move the same piece twice. And if you can't move, you have to pass. But if there is a move, you have to move.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So there's a lot of trying to get into goals that the opponent is in the way of. You're in the way of each other's goals, and you're trying to maneuver. And eventually, on that board especially, you end up in a lot of game states where, do you want to score because you have fewer pieces, which means you might have less options to block, or do you want to block up more and try to line up more goals? But then if you get stuck in a corner, you might be forced to do a really bad move because you don't have any other moves. A lot of that kind of playing around. But the fun thing we have about it is when we were playing it, it's hard to even know who's going to win right away. So, and it's usually not punishing either. So we wanted this game. I think we're also going to say we want all ages to enjoy this. It doesn't need to be a game that you have to think about grand strategy or trying to like plan out. It can be a chill game, but there is depth. Like there are openings. There are ways that you could think about it like that as well. So that's something we're really going to have coming up pretty soon, actually.
Right on.
Kickstarter.
And that's going to go to Kickstarter. So make sure you let us know when the links are. Be happy to share that, because that sounds.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Pretty
yeah,
cool.
for sure.
That sounds really
cool.
And
there's one more thing on that I think everyone hopefully will enjoy. We like upgraded the game by one concept that we came up with just a few months ago.
Health tracker.
Which was no. Which was, it's not a static board. They're tiles, and you can build your board.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that has made the game like it's another level. It's great.
That's
So
awesome.
we're really excited.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
like
And I imagine, like, production-wise, that's not too much.
No.
Too much more than just your static board, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds very interesting. I love playing with the idea of inertia just in general. Like, I can see like whoever came up with the original concept just sitting there and being like, I just really want to do something with inertia and like uncontrollable movement and stoppage and and spawning stuff from that. That's just such an interesting element of physics.
Big
and
curling
stuff,
fans.
Well,
exactly.
It is just like the curling in a sense. Yeah.
Well, having played a game recently where you take moves, and so really you're taking this move to kind of just accomplish maybe like one thing, but you're actually going to have to do like all the things. So sometimes you're getting stuff you don't want to get because you take that move, but it's really more like, I'm just doing this for this. I really like that concept. And so that sounds really neat.
Yeah.
So, inertia. That sounds good.
Yeah, so
that sounds
look
good.
forward to inertia first. That's the next thing that we're going to put out coming up here pretty soon. So we'll let you all know.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then, look for Runes of Zun content. I think we'll have another Kickstarter as well with another content release. And then we're going to be looking at some other, bigger things as well.
Yeah, no, that's great, because if Runes of Zun has given you guys some legs, right, as a company, right, and you've now got an IP and a game that people seem to be enjoying. I mean, we enjoy it.
I really
it's a lot to build on.
I'm annoyed that I can't remember it right now offhand, but I really like Gobiko's mission statement. The way they phrase their thing, like on BGG, if you go to their page and you read
page,
and you read their kind of their one sentence sum up of their own company kind of thing, it's just so in line. I can't remember the exact wording, but I liked it a lot.
Dan.
It's so in line with what he's been saying about the three games he's mentioned here of the easy to learn, like reach these people that are in between these two that don't want Uno and don't want
Right.
Twilight
Chess, or
Imperium
Twilight Imperium, sure.
and stuff, right? And the way they worded it, I was like, man, that's a really good statement, and they have done a great job with what
Embodying that.
I've
Yeah.
seen so far. So yeah, I liked that quite a bit.
Cool.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Bob, questions, answers.
Yeah, questions.
Nope. I think I asked mine already.
Did you?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I got a question because you're the
Okay.
writer,
Yeah.
right? So you're a writer. I should, the writer. Do they tap you, or do you like just go? You know what? I'm going to do a whole bunch of lore and backstory for this, because
I
as
wrote
being
it,
like a
planned it, wrote it.
perfect.
This is spoiler, not spoiler for ideas we have. Something I would love to do personally would be do anything related to campaigns that put you in the world.
Nice.
So that's something we would love to do. And, if we keep doing well, that's might come sooner than later in
Right.
some form.
Yeah.
Right, because like, not that we'll ever get anything made, but Dan and I like been working off and on like a couple different projects, and a lot of times Dan comes with this really great structure for a game, like some really good ideas, and then not that I'm a writer, but I go in and fill out like a lot of the lore though, right, and come up with
yeah.
the
Why
theme
that
and,
is.
and just kind of and then we get together and just kind of like it just kind of
Right.
grows and inflates, and I
I'm
feel like
definitely more on the side of the idea man, right? Where I'm just like, this would be a really cool mechanic, right? And you're like, wow, that's a really cool mechanic. I'm like, okay, go do something with that.
yeah, well, build on it. How do we make it how do you make it a game? And then like, what's a really good? How do you make it a good theme in a game? Because I do enjoy a good theme in a game. And while this could appear abstract, is not right, because the theme is that you are like these rune masters, and you're
That's right.
you're casting these, and so the theme is like very sneaky because you don't even realize you're in the on the theme. But if the theme matters to you, it's there. And if you don't care, it's like, I got this nice little card game, and we're just gonna play.
I guess.
Yeah, I could.
Continue.
I was going to say briefly, I could speak for an hour on the lore I've already established.
Nice.
It's not public.
Yes, we'll just have you on for the lore for inertia when
Right.
it
Lore podcast.
when it launches, because that'd be awesome. Because I love getting into the story and the lore. Because there's games that that we have loved that are not IP based, right? And it's like this game feels like it's got so much lore
Oh, yeah.
built
Right,
into
yeah,
it.
there's a lot of story here.
Like I feel like this is an existing property that we are just walking
Yeah,
into
where's
and
the book
discovering.
series for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of that. So that makes me happy to hear that, because I like that kind of stuff. I like theme in games. I don't absolutely need it, but man, when a game is dripping in theme or the theme's really strong, I get pumped up.
So I have two questions.
Please.
First, as a writer, and second, as a designer. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So first, as a writer, I just want to hear what you say. What is Zun?
Okay.
Right. These are the runes of Zun. So what is Zun in this
Sure thing.
universe?
Yeah, so Zun is the realm. I don't want to. Well, actually, I could spoil some of the lore because I've written some, and it's there somewhere. Rather, you just have to search a little bit. It's on the Kickstarter page, I think.
Okay.
Might have somewhere on the website. So, Zun is a realm, and that realm is battle scarred. Thousands of years ago, or sometime millennia ago, people maybe don't even know. There was a a huge war, way bigger than the scope of people that are living there. And the runes are spells that in the past they were more freely usable. They were magic that was more, sorcery kind of, used by the users, like created then and there. And the runes themselves became a way to use the magic and store it, so you could keep reusing a
I
spell.
had a feeling that's where it's going. That's awesome.
Yeah, and the Runes of Zun is called that because right now the people who live in Zun, think medieval era, kind of just your general fantasy kind of at least baseline setting. But the runes are like the whole land is drenched in these runes. They're everywhere. So people who can use and manipulate them, or even see them, are rune mages, and they're not even making their own spells anymore. They're just trying. They're trying to manipulate what's there
They're
in
just
the
picking
air.
up these calcified bits of magic and casting
Exactly.
them. Yeah, that's rad.
So that's Zun is the place that realm that this story takes place, right? Where Runes of Zun, where you as a runecaster would be, and the whole place, the whole land that they live in right now would be called Zun, and then and that land is full of these runes. And that's
Nice.
Yep. It's very interesting. Like you said, I'm sure that's written somewhere, but I didn't remember it, so I was very happy to hear that.
That depth of it might not have been explained, but it'll come out more, I think, especially as we release more content, because the spoiler of non-rune cards, that'll, if it goes well, help us bring in more aspects,
Right.
and the lore will come naturally from that.
Right.
Yeah, I could already see.
You
See.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
wait till we're not recording to
Right.
to
Guess and
ask.
fire off.
Yeah.
So my second little design question is, how difficult is it, because of how you're coming out with the expansions and stuff like this, especially now that you're coming out with a non-rune expansion, to balance things from the past, right? You add a new action card that has to work with, because the example that we found, which is purposely broken, right?
Yes.
But like when we introduced Anarchy into the deck, it's like, well,
Anarchy ensued.
it's like, yeah. So how does this affect everything? Like, it just literally affects everything. Like, and it's like, it's just
anarchy.
So how do you plan? Because I was talking to Bob a little bit about it when we were talking about it, because you do have a clever thing on most of the new, at least very popular purple cards, right? That specifically say, because they don't have, this icon didn't exist when the game first came out, it just specifically says on the card, this affects all X cards, or this is only unaffected by X, right?
Correct.
And so that's kind of the easy way to get around it. And I was just wondering how difficult it's been to have to, how much planning went into it from the beginning, and how much of it is, okay, how do we balance this from the past on our new expansions,
That's a great question, and it's very, very relevant. So, Anarchy is a good example of something that we planned around from launch, but it wasn't in the original design. So, when the original game launched, of course, that was there. It was a promotional card, one of the stretch goals for the first Kickstarter. So that was around from the beginning, and and there were a few others. Decree was also there. So those pink cards, but we imagined those as being rule breaker, game breaking cards that you could just throw in for fun.
Right.
But people love them so much that we just ended up making more and just saying, it kind of belongs. Everyone's going to put them in the game. So that was one design. I wouldn't say hiccup, but it was something that we didn't expect, that they would be played as much and people were wanting to use them that much. So that changed how we had to look at their power levels, because we initially wanted them to be super broken, and Anarchy is
broken.
Well, it is and isn't broken. I mean, it's very powerful, but it's chaos, really, because it's not like one player gets a huge amount of advantage necessarily.
Everybody is there, right?
And so that's one design philosophy we have, is I think no matter what we do, we at least try to not go too far in letting any cards, like, we don't want power creep, really. If we can help it, it's going to exist, but we don't want it to be extreme, for sure. So that's one design philosophy we have. And then when it comes to backwards compatibility, so that's one thing we look at. Are we exceeding the power level of the original cards? But I'd say even bigger, in looking at the old cards to the new cards, some of it wasn't planned. And, as we've had expansions, that's where I've come in as a designer. Like, I've had more and more influence each expansion.
Sure.
So, like Arcane Secrets, I mean, that's public information. If you want, has it been opened? No,
it hasn't been opened yet, because I can't open it.
So
Wait, only because
in
your
there,
mom, or
you'll
just because you
see,
can't work the thing?
Yeah.
you'll see a kind of theming, and I think that's what we're going to go for in general, especially with Arcane Secrets. You'll see that they work together well with each other. They work well with the base game, and they work well with the other cards, but they have kind of a kind of feel, and so, or a similar mechanic. And I think in this case, Arcane Secrets has, like you saw on the Divine promotional card, guessing. So it has a lot of, do you like players' hands, or on the deck, the top or the bottom card of the deck, you can get more power, or you can set up those locations. So there's a card called Scry that lets you take cards from the deck on one, either top or bottom, and then put two more on the opposite side. So you can prepare cards. There's other cards that require you to guess, like Divine.
Right. A lot of deck manipulation
Deduce.
kind of stuff.
Deduce. Nice. Torment.
So there's I think that's one we have, which is, okay, we want to create future expansions that, don't nullify the old cards, but have, and in this case, maybe a new mechanic or a few new mechanics that feel interesting and aren't too tough. And when it comes to game balance or difficulty, we like mixing, so like modifiers going onto old cards and the type of thing, that is, something we didn't, like we knew could happen and we expected, but we didn't know how much content we would add. So, we have our workarounds. Like you said, we just say in the cards, this affects all actions, or like this can be played on any action. But when it comes to like complications, we do try to keep it simpler if possible, because I come up with ridiculous cards and then we go, okay, now let's make that
let's dumb that down a bit.
How do we walk it back?
Yeah.
Those are really good.
Okay, I like your energy, but turn it down a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And one last thing I'll say is that with the rules, like you mentioned anarchy briefly, so and complications, like if I play this and this and this, how does that work? When we add more content, it might get really tough to figure out, okay, what's the exact correct answer for can this play when that is affecting me and I do this, right? It'll just happen naturally.
Yeah.
We intentionally look at every card that we add and we go, if someone messes up, does it ruin the game?
Oh, sure.
And if it doesn't, if they can mess up and it's still fun, we think that is fine.
Who cares?
And we accept that. And well, of course, we're going to have a really comprehensive rule book, not printed. We're actually going to try to get a nice archive online. We're trying to make a really nice place for people to go and really get some nitty gritties if they want that, and in the rule book, we're going to have probably even, clearer. We put a new rule book with the new, if you bought the base Runes of Zun in the recent Kickstarter, there's, I think, a little even easier to read how to play that gets you through.
Sure.
But yeah, we try to design something that's interesting and fun, and you don't need every expansion, but none of them invalidate or block any of the previous stuff. They should all add to each other, but not required either. And that's our goal, is to try to make it, even if you mess up and play it wrong, it still feels good to play, and there's no weird problems like that. So it's tough, but
right. I'll say on that note, it's funny because you're talking about how you want to try to keep things simple compared to other things, and how you don't want things to like, is it still fun even if that messes up or breaks something or something? Because I know this probably isn't recommended, but I'm just going to say anyone out there, obviously it depends on what you want out of this game, right? Are you trying to be the most hardcore player in the world, or are you trying to have fun with your family? That's two very different things. As someone who just wants to have fun when playing this game, every time, like every purple card that has come so far, I have thrown in the deck.
I was going to say,
I don't care.
Well,
I don't care if that's recommended at all.
Specifically Anarchy, though, right? Because when we played and we had the Anarchy card come out, and you're just like, okay, boys, let's see what happens. And it would, I mean, yes, things went badly for some of us because that card came out, but at the same time, we all just were cracking up because we're like, this is nuts.
Like, I just don't know if it's recommended to be like, oh, pick your favorite 2 overpowered cards and put it. And I'm just like, I want my whole hand to be purple cards.
Yeah, no, I just like the madness, like how crazy and just ramped up it can be with those cards, because it's, again, that might give Bob a really powerful turn, but at the same time, there's a really good chance that I'm going to get some of those cards later on. You know what I mean? Like they're going to come back around, or there's that tension of when they're going to steal a card from your hand. You're like, oh, don't take that one, don't take that one, don't take that one.
Yep.
And I just love that stuff. I mean, for me, it just anything that ups the stakes a little bit, right? Like my own personal investment in the, like, what's going to happen? Okay, cool. Like, I think they're great. I can see where, you could pull them out for like a nicer, calmer game, but I like to get rowdy. So
I love
rowdy
the promo
friends.
cards.
Yeah.
I'll say briefly that the promo cards and any of our cards, any of the releases, we want players to go, we like these, we don't like these as a group. And when you play the game, we want them to go, we're sharing a deck. So they go, oh, he got it this time. Oh, he got it 2 times. Oh, she got it 3 times. But then I can get it next.
Yeah.
Like, we want that, and we want the rules as well. We want people together to go, that's not how anarchy works. We're like, I guess that's how anarchy works.
Right.
Yeah.
As a group, that's what we really want.
I'm looking forward to playing, especially with the way you've explained it, playing these promo cards again. This isn't even close to all of them here, but playing these promo cards here with all the new scry abilities and deck manipulation abilities.
Dude,
That's
I've been looking at
very
these.
Interesting.
And yeah. I wish I had time right now to play, because it's like, oh, this is gonna get so much crazier. And but that's just a testament to how much fun this game really is.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys have anything
I'm
else
good.
for
I
Alex?
asked my great questions.
You did.
You did.
They were good. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah,
Did you? Was it on camera? Was I here? Was I here
Yeah, I
when
didn't
you
say
were?
like I was here.
Well,
Okay,
I mean,
just
great
checking.
questions.
Just checking. Well, this has been awesome, Alex. Thank you for coming on and getting into some of this with us, because like our review, we were fans. Just by sheer luck, we discovered it because your mom backed it. So now we will try to not let other people miss out, because we will just go to the mountains and
Spread
yell,
awareness.
and yell.
Well, we're still very passionate about this game. You know, even if, you know, it seems like, you know, with the recent times, it's been tough for a lot of companies, I'm sure.
Sure.
We really want this to keep going out there, and there's so many things we want to do with it. So
Yeah, and not even on just being like, we only want Zun games, right? Like I would just, Dan and Bob and I, we are kind of big on like, we really like this company, right? Like, like they put out stuff we like, or we know people from this company, you know, we've talked to people, and then it's like, well, you know, help out. CMON doesn't need all the money, right? I mean, you got to help out the smaller,
right.
you know, smaller companies, especially if they're putting out really solid, you know, games that it would be easily overlooked, you know, just because they don't have the media presence and the millions of dollars to put behind, you know, a big old ad campaign.
I also wanted to point out, obviously, it's nice because it's a small box game, card game, all these kind of things, right? 4 cubes in it, right? Simple ideas here. But we talked about this with Wolves of Mercia as well, and I just think this company deserves it. You guys deserve it. I have been blown away on your guys' shipping time. Like, I mean, seriously, like, it's like when my mom backed the second expansion or whatever, like, that's all she said was that she backed it. I didn't know when anything else, but I mean, it felt like she got it like 2 weeks later or something. Like, I don't understand. And, you know, the base game was like that. Your guys' shipping turnaround, and I believed it when I read it because, like I said, it's obviously easier to ship a small box card game than, you know, this giant, massive monster. But still, I've been so happy with how you guys have actually pulled it off, and were truthful with your numbers, and that's just always nice. We were blown away with Wolves of Mercia's, and I've been blown away with Go Beco's shipping.
No, it's easy to get excited about, you know, companies that
do
work
things right
and operate this way.
Well, and I mean, I suppose the whole, you know, I back something, I got something, and then like a year later, maybe that's when you could see it.
Right.
Like we definitely didn't want that to happen. So
Sure.
we do our best, and you know, there's a lot of shipping problems right now, but we do everything we can to get it, and I'm really glad. Thank you for saying that, because it makes everyone else will feel glad. Eric and Dave will love to hear that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. You guys deserve a lot of credit, though, because clearly you're doing a lot of things right.
Yep.
And I'm really glad that Runes of Zun is doing well enough to warrant more attention and everything.
Yeah.
So, fantastic.
Well, well, we'll keep putting stuff out. And Nersha, again.
Can't wait for Nersha.
I'll get
Yeah,
you
sounds
something for that real soon.
Yeah.
Because that one, you know, it'll be the first game after Runes of Zun, so we'll see the reception on that too. But
Sure.
Runes of Zun also is definitely going to keep going, just at the rate it's already been going. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is exciting.
Sweet.
That's exciting. All right, well, I don't have anything else.
I'm spent.
Yeah, you actually participated, so you're going to need a nap after this.
I know.
All right, well, I guess we're going to call it there. So thank you, Alex, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
And look forward to having you back to talk about more stuff. You want to be a guest on the show and hang out with us.
Right.
And
I'd love to.
Do all the fun things.
Yep. If
That
you ever
would
need
be-
us to teach you how to play Dead by Daylight, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
You don't have to. They've been trying to get me for so long.
Listen, because it's not called Final Fantasy, I understand you don't want to
Yes.
play it.
Thank you.
Or Elder Scrolls.
Right.
which clearly ripped off.
Yeah, hold
Runes
on.
of Zun.
We don't mention them before.
Oh, yeah.
During the lawsuit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, all the lawsuits. But thank you, Alex. I really appreciate it, man. It's been great having you on.
No, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, maybe I'll see you guys sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, guys, that was the interview with Alex. It was really awesome.
It was.
I'm excited to have him on in the future, not only to talk about future projects, but as like just sort of a guest host one day. I think it's going to be a good time.
That would be fun.
So that being said, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. If you have any questions, hit us up on Facebook, comment on the video, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
All the things.
Right. Also, I just checked. We're now 23 subscribers away from our 500 subscriber giveaway.
Yeah.
Anyways, as always, I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
And I've been Dan.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Okay, guys, one other thing real quick before you go. Somewhere in this episode, there's a Waldo in the background that may or may not have committed a murder because of MicroMacro Murder City.
Can you
Murder
find him?
Party. So yeah, find Waldo and comment. Maybe we'll send you something fun. Oh boy, please don't.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.